Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Mohit Singh, your community medicine faculty, and today I'm so proud to share the stage with Dr. Manasvi Pandharkame. And very hearty congratulations to Dr. Manasvi for securing a beautiful rank of rank 10 in this INI-CET May 2024 exam. Hearty congratulations and a very warm welcome, Manasvi.
Thank you so much, sir.
So everybody must be so much excited, and we are so proud of you, beta, that you have secured such a beautiful rank. And Abhi, I'm already getting excited on discussing with you कि कैसे preparation किया. Tell me how you're feeling right now.
I can't believe this thing is true right now. So I just double checked the result quickly,
Yeah.
and then I was sure before telling my parents that this is the result.
But अभी बताने के बाद आपने दोबारा did you check it again? Like how was it?
No, I didn't check it again. I checked it
Yeah.
twice, and
Right. So let us start with the system. Like, how did you start preparing and how things went on? So what I know is you had taken Marrow Plan C, right?
yes, sir.
Right. So what was your preparation strategy? What was your main source of preparation? How did you take it on?
In the initial first 2 years, I was preparing for MBBS final exam. So I used to read from the textbooks and standard textbooks mostly.
Right.
After COVID started, I bought a Marrow plan. And then
Okay.
from that time till now, I have been using Marrow diligently.
So you were doing MBBS at that time when you got Marrow, when you took Marrow?
Yes. I was in my second year, third year in between that.
Nice. That's amazing. So since last 2-3 years, you have been sticking along with Marrow and taking that as the source of preparation. Beta, how were you using the videos and MBBS along with MBBS? How were you taking on the videos? Like, were you doing subject wise as per your profs, or were you just doing randomly, or how were you taking on?
I was doing it as per the profs mostly. In the third year, I tried to cover the third year subjects and some one or two short subjects.
Right.
So that was my goal in third year. And in the final year, I did final year subjects. I used to see a video, read all the notes, or make notes if it is possible for me. And then I used to go back to the standard textbook for some important topics for writing, big answers for university
Right.
and all.
So, what was your notes making strategy? Like you just mentioned that you were making notes. So, how were you making notes? Did you make it for all the subjects? What about your notes thing?
It was mostly for all the subjects I made my handwritten notes. Only a few which I missed during the third, fourth year. I watched it from the Marrow app. In the
Right.
Marrow app below every video, you have very nicely given notes. So it is very easy to revise. You don't have to search also. It
Yeah.
becomes very easy in the
Yeah, because they are
video.
topic wise, they are already
That
given.
topic.
So just walk me through like how are you using the video and the notes for your prof exams and also preparing for your final exam, because that time of course every student would be preparing for their prof exam, keeping in back of the mind the entrance exam, the NEET or the INI-CET, right? So how are you using the videos? Did you do the videos first and then into textbook, or first you used to solve MCQs? How are you taking it on?
First, I used to watch the video. Like if we go for surgery, I used to watch that video, a particular system, like appendix from surgery. After
Right,
that, going to any standard textbook was very easy. So all the important volatile topics were covered, and you just had to get a few points here and there and some structure or diagram from the
right,
textbook. After
right.
that, I used to solve MCQs.
Okay,
So
good.
I didn't watch the video and solve the MCQ simultaneously. I used to keep some gap in between solving the MCQ. Like, because if you solve it after the video, it becomes very easy.
Yeah. So was this your first attempt?
Yes, this was my first attempt.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Dr. Manasvi. So which was your favorite and very strongest subject? What do you think? Like, which was your good main forte?
I think patho, pharmac, micro, these second year subjects were my strongest subjects.
Nice. That's amazing because these are, of course, one of the more, you can say, more core subjects which are there in AIMS INI-CET exams as well.
Yes.
And they form the foundation of all the whole clinical structure, right? So that's amazing. That's very nice. So how about this concrete plan for INI-CET? When did you start focusing? Did you work only on INI-CET, or you were generally preparing for NEET exam and also preparing for INI-CET?
I was preparing for both the exams. Mostly it was for NEET, but since the last 6 months, I was focused towards INI-CET.
Right. So you started your preparation more focused towards INI-CET since 6 months. S-
Yeah.
So what extra did you do in these 6 months? Like it's May. So you must have started somewhere October, November, maybe?
Yes, yes.
Hmm. So how
So
did you
I
approach
used
this?
to solve more GTs which were based on INI-CET. So
Hmm.
Marrow GTs was a major game changer for me,
Hmm.
because the GTs which were based on NEET or INI-CET both, the INI-CET GTs were very much, the exam was like giving another Marrow GT.
Right.
So
Right.
exactly from the first question to the last set where you get all the questions and how many corrects and incorrects and skip,
Yeah.
it was exactly same from the Marrow. If you give it on the web, you
Right.
get the exact feel of the
Right.
exam.
Right. Right. So what do you think is the ideal time for preparing for INI-CET? Maybe 6 months to 7 months should be enough. For how would you advise your juniors to do for INI-CET?
I think the first and second year subject should be very strong for
Mhm.
INI-CET, because all the questions you can derive from there, except from a few niche topics in other
Right.
subject.
Right.
So they should just solve MCQs for these subjects in the final year. They should start solving it. It shouldn't be like they have solved it 2 years back and read about it 2 years back. So directly in internship, it will be very difficult to compile all 19 subjects together. So
Right.
whichever subject they are doing from medicine or surgery, in that whatever system, like if it is respiratory system, they should make sure they solve pharmac, patho from respiratory system. If they are doing infective diseases, they should see some important
Right.
bacteria, fungi all the
Mhm.
way. So it will be easy for them in internship when they start to get everything together. So for
Right.
INI-CET, first, second year subjects help a lot. I guess the paper was also mostly based on second year subjects this
Mostly
time.
in second year. Yeah. Yeah. Mostly that was the main area. Good. So, what was your revision plan, Beta? Like, when did you finish off your maybe the first reading or before the INI, focusing on INI set? When did you finish off your first set of reading revision? कैसे था उसका?
So overall, I started in my internship for preparing for these exams. So it was around May I started preparing.
Oh,
So
okay.
4 5 months I took for the first reading. It was very slow. I went through all the main videos,
Mm-hmm.
and whichever question banks I had left, I used to solve with that video itself.
Mm-hmm.
So in the second reading, I almost reduced it to three-fourth or half of the time. And
Right.
there I focused on PYQs
Okay.
from that subject. For
Right.
INI-CET, PYQs become very important. So in my
Right.
second reading itself, I tried to get as much as PYQs I could, know and incorporate in my notes or in a separate book where I wrote all the PYQs.
Okay.
And for the third time, it was mostly a very quick revision, going through revision notes and GTs, and whatever mistakes I made in my GTs, I had compiled it together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it had a list of all the topics which were volatile or which were important, because whatever is asked in Marrow GTs is mostly important. So it
Right.
comes somewhere or the other in the exam. So I had a list of all those things. So I revised that quickly.
How much time you were giving for the first revision? First is maybe you told 3 4 months, 5 months, but then in the first revision, how much time did you take?
I guess 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months. And last revision, you completed all 19 subjects in that, right?
Yes, I in the last revision it was almost 2 months and 5 6 odd days. I just kept for just flipping pages
Ah, okay.
and going through bookmark MCQs.
Right. And did you make a 20th notebook kind of thing, or maybe extra supplementary notebook where you
Yes, it
compile
was.
all the.
Yes, it was mostly based on my GT mistakes.
Right, right.
So
So, yeah, I had one more question over here. Coming to the QBank story now, coming to the question bank, how are you using the question bank? Like when you're starting doing MCQs, how many MCQs were you able to do per day?
I used to focus on whatever topics I had done so far.
Hmm.
So I used to go system wise sometimes. And during MBBS, it is sometimes difficult to solve every day consistently.
Right.
But then I used to make sure I used to solve 3 4 modules. When there was
Okay.
marathon, I used to take part in that. So
You
that
took
way,
part in all the marathons?
yeah, one or two I took. In internship, I
Okay.
couldn't take.
Yeah.
But in my third, fourth year, I used to solve along. So it was a great motivation to complete the question banks.
Yeah, it actually helps you. That's what I have understood. That in the students, from the students' perspective, it will help you maybe stay focused on the target and try to achieve the target. Ki, aaj, today I have to do these 5 modules or 6 or maybe more than that. And it just keeps you on the toes.
Yes.
Were you using bookmarks and custom modules and different other features like the schema and things like these?
Yes, definitely. Yes. I used to solve custom modules. In the last few days, I used to make custom modules based on AIMS
Okay.
tag or
Yeah.
recent need tag or
Hmm.
sometimes just recent updates.
Hmm.
So custom modules was a great revision because once you are done with question bank or even if you have missed a few questions banks,
Right.
if you solve the custom modules, then it becomes very easy to cover an entire subject in a span of 100 questions. So,
Right.
and in the exam, nothing is going to be topic wise. There is always going to
Mm.
be a mixed bag. So this
Yeah.
feature by Marrow I have liked a lot. And one more feature they introduced was magic module. So I really like
So did
how
you practice
quickly there
them?
are. Yes, I practiced the last four magic modules. Like they keep coming up. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a great way of
Nice.
revision.
Nice. Nice. So I personally also feel that that actually gives you the confidence and it helps you maybe solve the question more quicker. I think maybe you can just see the answer and then you can move forward if it's correct.
Yes.
Right, right. And what about the GTs? You mentioned that you were giving a lot of GTs as well. So how many, when did you start giving GTs or grant tests and how often were you giving grant tests? This is one of the very frequent questions every student will ask us.
So once I think somebody has done half of the subjects, they should start giving grand test.
Okay.
Because in exam also you are going to know only half of the questions. Half of the questions are to be guessed. Half of the questions are to be applied based on your knowledge. So
That
if
is
you
not a
start
very good,
practicing,
that is not a very good answer that half questions you will guess. But
no, half questions are going to be based on whatever you have read, but you
right.
have to apply them. They are not going to be same to same pickup.
Yeah. So
They
at the
will
back
be
of the
based on
mind, you
your
have foundation ready, and then
yes.
you implement or use that foundation to solve the MCQ.
Yes, but solving new questions becomes very important. So, from the beginning, if you are used to seeing deadly questions, if you are used to seeing something that you have never read before, you will not be
Yes.
afraid in the exam.
Yes, that's very important. Very nice point, and I would second that point very strongly because you should have a habit of solving new MCQs, and that will decrease the fear factor in the exam, as you have rightly pointed out. So, were you using the GT like the graphs and analytics by Marrow? What were there any helpful for your preparation?
Yes, definitely. Your strongest subject and weakest subject sometimes
Mm.
become very important when you are very less motivated to study. You know what to pick up next. If your
Mhm.
graph is low on one subject, you know that even if I don't feel like studying today, I should look at this subject or
Right.
look at a few, bookmark
Yeah.
points from this subject.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like the scores in GT, were they relating to your Marrow rank or with the main INI-CET ranking system? Were they related?
This
How
was
you?
slightly better than I thought. It was
So God has been
mostly,
kind with us. God has been kind with us, right?
yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So, how were you performing with the Marrow GTs and compared to the INI-CET? They were at par or like how much difference or delta change you would see?
Marrow GTs were at par with the exam, I felt. Because Marrow GTs are based on previous year topics, they are based on recent updates. There is a mix of everything. So the
Right,
question had a lot of assertion reason type of questions, a lot of multiple correct type of questions, a lot of
right,
match the following. So Marrow really prepares you for that. Marrow
right.
also had that feature where after 45 minutes the set changes.
That would change. Yeah, yeah.
So from November itself, they started putting GTs based on that pattern. So it gave us a good practice of the new pattern as well.
Right. So actually, what was your strategy for GTs? This is again very frequently asked question to us. Like, how would you take a GT? Like, you would attempt all the questions, and then the questions which you already knew. What did you do to them? Did you watch the? Did you read the explanations? Did you look into the reference, or you just skipped? How were you reviewing your GT?
It depends on the stage of your preparation. If
Mm-hmm.
you start giving your GT early in your internship or in your final profess exams, so at that time you need to first see the incorrect questions properly, read the explanation. Then Marrow has a good feature of guessed
Yes.
questions. So then I think you should look at the guessed correct questions.
Right.
So, and know why and how you could guess it properly. So you should know what you did correct to get that question properly. And in the initial days, you might have a look at the correct questions as well, because that will help you, because Marrow explanations itself are like a good source of revision.
Right.
But once you are in your internship in the last 3-4 months, you might just do the first two parts of the review. Last part, you might just go through quickly, just see the question, see the answer, see the question, see the answer. If any doubt arises, you might look at the option, or if that is your weak topic, you might look at the explanations properly. Or if you couldn't understand why the other option is wrong, that is also very beautifully explained below. So
Right.
you can go through that.
If I may just ask like one point more, I have a doubt over here. You said that you were doing internship and then you were giving GTs. Many students have this phobia, you would say, or maybe fear of unknown factor. Like internship ke saath, it is very difficult. We cannot match. I think I am. You have done your MBBS from
Say GS Medical College and KM Hospital.
KEM Hospital. So, of course, the internship might be particularly heavy duties and heavy term must be there, right? So, how are you managing your internship and your GTs and your preparation?
So there are different days. Sometimes there is an emergency day where you have to forget that day and the next day completely from your schedule. So you
Right.
need to first plan what is ahead of you. You can't be over ambitious and over plan on stuff, because that will add up to the stress.
Mm-hmm.
And in some postings are very chill, OPD based. After the OPD,
Yeah.
you can be home and you
In
can,
psychiatry, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes, in psychiatry or in dermatology,
yeah,
it is very easy. So
yeah.
you can, in the OPD also, if there are no patients, you can just flip through the bookmark questions, or you can just go through your mistakes or something like that.
Right, right. What is your advice to any like someone, any junior who is preparing in their internship phase? How much stress they should put on internship and on preparation? More on internship, less on preparation, or 50-50, or more on prep and less on internship? How would you grade that?
I guess if it is an important posting, you need to put your focus on that posting.
Correct, correct. Specifically
So
like emergency, gynae, surgery, medicine, medical.
yes, yes. And there are some days, only 2-3 days in that posting are heavy. After that,
Mhm.
rest of the week you get for yourself. So
Right,
you need
right.
to take a good break and then start. You can't be exhausted all the time and study.
Right, right. So, what I have understood over here while talking to you, it was such an enlightening experience talking to you that what I have understood is that Manasvi had a very organized approach and she had a very structured approach. And the big advantage she had was that she started with Marrow well in advance. Like 2-3 years, she was sticking to Marrow. So, she had a time to play around with Marrow, to understand all the videos, do all the MCQs, do the QBank, do the grant test, and while our in internship time, I think you had that big thrust coming over where you did all the GTs. Am I correct on this?
Yes.
Right, right. So apart from this, there might be many students always ask us like many times there are depressing moments in life as well. Sometimes things are not going in the way we are wanting them to go. How are you coping up with that, with those sad days or depressing days where you're not able to perform?
So I had a very strong supporting system. My family, my friends, they were always there for me. So in my final year internship, my parents shifted with me near the hospital. So I
Oh,
used to come back, look at them, and have positivity back in my life.
right. That's so
So that
nice.
was one thing to look forward to every day. And with the efforts your parents put for you, you want to give them back something.
Of
So
course.
yeah.
Right. Any hobbies, or did you have like just a very quick round on your personal agenda? Like any hobbies you had? What do you
I
like?
used to go for dance classes with my mother like
Nice.
twice a week for 1 hour it was, but it was a good, space for me to relax and some exercise and positivity in my life. So that was one thing I would
Right. What is your
recommend. You can,
favorite feature in Marrow mobile application where which help you overcome a lot of stresses and things like these?
I think grant tests and custom modules. These are the two keys. If you do
Game changers.
Yes, these are the game changers. You should
Right.
definitely use them.
Nice. What is the final advice you would like to give to your juniors who's preparing, who started preparing for a prestigious entrance exam like INI-CET?
I think you should trust yourself in the process and then not lose hope. There may be a lot of ups and downs, but you can always go back to your loved ones, you can always go back to your teachers, your friends, and you can get back on track. There will be a few days where you will be down, but you have to, get used to it.
Yes.
This is life, it can't go according to you, but when it goes a great way. So you should
That's
trust
so
it that way also.
yeah, and the family support and everybody's support and your own positivity comes at help all the times. Yeah. So that's so nice talking to you, Dr. Manasvi. Very hearty congratulations to you, to your family members for being such a positive support, and I hope that you would do the very best in your future upcoming projects or in your next upcoming part of the career, medical career. What branch are you going to take, by the way?
Mostly radiology.
Radiology. That's it. That's the way to go. So my hearty best wishes to you, beta. All the very best, and thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much, sir.